because all it is just dead space. I just cut and throw it away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, yeah. Leaving it rolling's fine. All right. Well, hopefully those handful of people are still sticking around. Jesus. Sorry, folks. Yeah, we had to restart the show there. We weren't getting audio. Thank you to those who quickly jumped onto the YouTube and Facebook feed there and let us know that we were not, there was no audio coming through. And you know what it is? Some of this equipment here is getting a little long in the tooth. And occasionally it does that, and the fix is not a button click. It's not anything Easus did. So I feel free to blame Easus. That goes without saying.
Shoulder it.
Yeah, he can handle that. So go ahead and throw piles of shit on him. But no, it's not his fault. It's happened before. And you unfortunately have to reboot everything. So we did that. It appears we're getting levels now. We should be good. I'm waiting for a tiny thumbs up from Easus, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
If not, I'm not starting over again.
Right,
right. Whatever's laid down on tape. We're good. You're recording on the DAT, right?
I am.
The DAT, whatever.
Yeah.
It's old school. Sorry.
I'm assuming it's good because the person that complained that the audio's not there isn't saying anything now. So
okay.
I'm assuming
or they just bailed on us.
No, because they commented. They said, "You got this, Piggy." So,
okay.
So I'm assuming
good.
it's good.
Good. Anyways, I don't remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about how you don't care about what shirts you just put on shirts.
Yeah,
I definitely theme dress. I choose very carefully what I'm going to wear.
Yeah, you always have.
I always have.
I respect your game. Some people call it nerdy, or they even throw the G word around, call you gay, but I don't go that far.
Here's what I'll tell you, though. You want not to bring the whole conversation from yesterday back here, but when you talk about, wanting to do a thing where you don't, you do your own thing, you don't care about the money. Thing I wanted to do my whole life was be able to wear sports clothes, when teams were playing. I wanted to have a job where I could, I can wear my Lions shirt. I don't have to wear some fucking,
suit and tie.
Yeah,
you're not
bullshit, so.
You're not a company man.
I'm not.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that goes without saying. Hey, I wanted to first off say thank you to everybody that reached out to me through email, direct message, text, for those of you that have my cell phone, and really seem excited about the next step in the process. And are excited, even people that I would have historically thought would not have been excited about kind of lineup changes. I got some really cool feedback from people from all over, and that means a lot to me, more than it probably should. But
I gotta say,
I guess at the end of the day, as long as you're doing an entertaining show, people don't really give a shit, and everybody's always been really supportive and really cool about everything. So. I noticed it and I appreciate it. I just wanted to say that real quick.
I think they should be excited. Frankly, I know at one point, some people might have some trepidation because Raj is, as you stated yesterday, a little on a different side politically.
Well,
my answer to that always is, dude, you should be allowed. It should be fun.
Oh, of course,
it should be like that.
Here's the thing.
Be a problem.
Here's the thing that's really, really hard to do, but I'm finding is more true than not true, and that is. I've never had a problem with classic liberals. They are not what is the woke, okay?
Right.
The woke, while they vote left historically because the left, for whatever reason, entertains their idiocracy over there with that nonsense, the woke nonsense, that doesn't apply to them. The true liberals, like I think Raj is, I think a lot of people fall in that category, that they're not all in on this woke shit either. And I think Raj has shown that before,
right.
Where he's like, I don't give a shit. You're a vegan? Fuck off. I'm having a barbecue.
Yeah.
If you want to bring your own grill over and, bring your own vegan bullshit over, go ahead. But I'm having a party for what? So he's not in that woke category, which is good. By the way, I was talking to him a little earlier, just in text, but I was asking for an update on his MRI stuff, and he's not getting the results till Friday.
Gotcha.
And I was like, shit, man. I was like, that seems like crazy long.
Yeah.
For an MRI. And I'm like, maybe he's full of shit. Maybe he's getting cold feet.
Oh, boy.
Which is not the case, but I like fucking with him anyways. But he was saying, dude, you have no idea, because of the winter whatever that's going across the country.
Dude.
And I know this to be true about Texas. When they get a frost, it shuts down their infrastructure.
Right.
Like bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, everything is shut down.
Yeah.
He's like, if he said something along the lines of, in Michigan, if you were to shut down like we do every time some half an inch of snow hits, you'd be in 5th grade at this point. Like that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So anyways, small update on that. We're hoping for good news. We're praying for him, obviously.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Tap us. Thoughts and prayers on all that shit. So we'll hopefully get good news from Raj and get the ball rolling, but it's worth mentioning. The other thing I wanted to talk about is we gear up. We're now at Wednesday, and this week seems to be crawling by to me because we've never been this deep into January and had the Lions to look forward to on a weekend game. And we're not going to spend all show talking Lions or football, that kind of thing. I understand it. There's plenty of people who are like, enough with the sports.
Yeah.
I get it. But this is kind of historic for people around Metro Detroit. I remember this with the Wings, and when your team's doing really well, it's really exciting for the majority of people.
Yeah, correct.
And so I will say that, but boy, oh boy, I can't wait for Saturday to get here.
Yeah.
It's,
Me too, by the way.
It's
You
that
know
weird
what's funny?
3 o'clock
I'm legit
game.
excited to watch your game, honestly.
Yeah. Oh,
'cause
yeah.
I'm very
Well,
curious.
that game matters for Detroit
Yeah.
fans a lot.
And I'm glad that it's Saturday, so
The
that I go
Lions
into
and then
Sunday
Sunday.
knowing what's going on.
Exactly.
I'm glad. I'm not.
What is
not have it the reverse way?
What is
personally.
most exciting about this, and what I was trying to say before we realized we didn't have audio there, was as a 49ers fan, historically over the years, when you get towards the postseason, and then when you get into the postseason and you win a game, the coverage starts to become very, very isolated on your team and your team's matchup.
Yeah.
And I am not. If I was a Texans fan, or a Lions fan, I'd be really pissed. And I am a Lions fan.
A lot of it, yeah.
I'd be really pissed, dude. I've got all the sports shows recording. Okay, I've got Good Morning Football, which I typically watch because it's just football. Good Morning Football, I record First Take, and I can't stand First Take.
Yeah.
But when it's about your team, it's like, okay, let's check out what they're doing, whatever.
Oh, I've watched more ESPN than I have in the last
10 years. Yeah.
In the last week or two. Yeah.
Me too. I'll record Pat McAfee's show. See, just any of these ones, and then I'll go to YouTube and I'll watch clips.
Yeah,
and I'll be like, okay, here's what Rich Eisen is doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are fraudulent with clickbaity stuff.
Of course.
Which drives me nuts. But, someone's making money. So it's really offensive to go, dude, I was an hour and 40 minutes into First Take today.
Right.
Without a single Lions.
I know,
mention.
dude. It's crazy.
Not one. Yet they have no problem spending an hour on what happened to the Cowboys.
That's a
Why
funny
would the
thing.
Cowboys? It's like,
it's not even going on to other teams to me.
No,
they're
no,
still on
it's
the Cowboys.
straight Cowboys. If you haven't figured out yet that this is what the Cowboys are, okay, the Cowboys are soft, period. They were linebackerless, period. And they got what was coming to them. It's the same thing they got last year. It's the same thing they got the year before. They haven't been in a championship game in 30 years.
Right.
Okay? Why are we giving this much coverage to this fucking franchise?
America's team, Mike.
Bullshit. Don't feed me the John Fasandi line or whatever from NFL Films.
Right.
Yeah, they call this America's team. He invented that, okay? America didn't call that America's team.
Yeah.
John Facenda did, who was the NFL Films voice guy. Brilliant voice guy, but he, in the autumn, the blah, blah, blah,
I do miss
rings
the
true.
NFL film videos.
They're great. And John was amazing at that. But, that's just one of the throwaway things he said in the 70s about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Every autumn it springs true that blah, blah, blah,
Right.
And great voice work, great soundtrack and all that. But he made that up, and the franchise is worth what it's worth. But it's not like you're down to the Elite Eight.
Right.
Like when you get down to the last 8 teams, we're not still talking about what happened in the Sweet 16 or I mean in the or the 32 or the 64. We're not focused on the team that didn't get in.
It's crazy.
And so to see this where it's like we can only talk about the Dallas Cowboys being bounced.
Right.
There's not even enough stories on the Niners right now or the Ravens.
Yeah.
They want to talk only about the Cowboys and about Josh Allen versus Mahomes If you're not sick of like, what else can you say?
Yeah.
There's so many new storylines in this particular season. You have 7 first-round quarterbacks and then 1 7th-round quarterback in Brock Purdy. That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
You have C.J. Stroud lighting up the league, doing shit in Houston we've never seen.
Right, as
from
a
rookie
freaking
quarterbacks.
rookie, yeah.
As a rookie, a true rookie, first-round pick, doing what he's done. And look out, Baltimore. I know it's on the road. I know it's in Baltimore, but that is a special team. Jordan Love and what he's done from October, September until now is huge. And I hope my Niners don't overlook him. That is a real problem in Green Bay. No one expected it to be a problem this fast, but it is.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions are a gem of a story.
Basically the Cubs. You know
They
what I
are.
mean? Like-
They are, exactly. That is a gem of a story with national importance that they should be all over. And no, we're just going to do the boring ass Mahomes versus Allen all day. That's all we're going to cover. And then the Dallas Cowboys, what went wrong? Nothing went wrong. This is who the Cowboys are.
Right.
This is who they are. They're a soft team, and when they play good teams, they don't look great. Yeah, they beat the fucking pants off everybody who sucks in the league. That's Dallas's MO. That's what they do, and they've done it for years. So stop acting like this is so shocking. We need to cover this all day for a straight hour. Swagoo, what do you think? What do you think happened with the Cowboys, Swagoo?
Right.
Shut up. They're gone. We don't need to talk about the Cowboys until August. God damn. I'd be offended if I was a Texans fan. I'm offended as a Niners fan, and I'm triply offended as a Lions fan.
Yeah,
I really
I hear
am.
ya.
I feel like they're giving Jordan Love his love in a lot of respects. But hopefully, after this round, I'm predicting the Lions
win.
move on, and I'm predicting my Niners probably find a way that coaching staff will find a way to slow Love
That's
down.
fair.
That's what I think will happen. And I know, really going out on a limb here, taking the favorites.
Right.
But I really think that should happen.
By the way,
nothing would shock me, but that's the way it should go. And then you better be covering the daylights out of that NFC matchup and whatever the AFC one is.
I have to tell you, by the way, just now, you saying, I'm predicting the Lions win. I'm predicting that, Niners find a way to.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, big shock, picking the favorites. It as you said that, it hit me. The Lions were you said the Lions in that statement as a favorite.
Yeah.
And I know they are.
Yeah.
But
a
it hit
favorite
me
at home against the Bucs.
But
it's great.
hearing you say, big shock, I'm picking the favorites.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
included the Detroit Lions is quite weird to hear.
Did you happen to hear the reporter in Tampa Bay?
Is this about the
Todd Bowles question, the coach?
Yeah, no,
About
maybe
weather?
not. No.
Okay,
not
so
about
I've got the video there, and I don't want to automatically. It's not like me. It goes against my nature to just go, oh, affirmative action on display. I like that.
no, I haven't heard this.
Why would I do that? I wouldn't. I think back to, and I've told the story before, and I'd love it if some of our sleuths could find this video because I've never been able to find it. There are certain things. I remember Charlie LaDuff telling me one thing, and it hits local, and I don't know if he's ever done the story, but he's like, scrubbed from the internet. This doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It was everywhere, and it's gone, and you can't find it, and no one, it's crazy. And I'm not going to spill his story. I probably have before, but I'm not going to do it now. But anyways, there was a video of a young African-American black woman on the sidelines. It was pregame. It's when Mike Singletary was the coach of the 49ers, okay? And doing one of those bullshit, lame pregame interviews, and they're kind of walking towards the locker room off the field. And she's asking him about, because he's new as a coach for the Niners, right? Mike Singletary, famous Chicago Bear, Hall of Famer. And she's asking him how much of a support Bill Walsh has been, who's the legendary coach of the Niners and, regarded as one of the greatest coaches ever. Father of the West Coast offense that's still being used in the league today. And asking what a support he's been and how helpful has it been to have a Bill Walsh type of guy around here because he lived in the Bay Area and he was, coach at Stanford, coach of the Niners. How much of a help has he been to you as you're now the head coach? And he just looked at her and he's like, Bill Walsh died a few years ago, right? And she's just like, nah. And it's like, this was your big moment.
Right.
This was your big question, and you fucking failed so hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
Man, dude.
That video is gone.
Yeah.
It's scrubbed. I know it happened because I watched it.
Yeah. I believe
And
it.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm not getting it all right.
Yeah.
But she was unaware that Bill Walsh was dead and was just like, oh, wow, how awesome is it to have this legendary mind to lean on. And he's just like, you know, Bill Walsh is dead, right? He died a few years ago.
Oh, my God.
And this one, you know, you can't see the reporter. It's strange to me that they're not naming the reporter.
Okay.
Usually it would be like, look at this dipshit.
Yeah.
I want to say it sounds like a young,
I'm looking,
young
by
black
the way,
woman.
I'm looking
I
at
don't know, but
I'm looking at the title of the video, and I'm trying to decide if what's going to happen here. Like,
so it's Todd Bowles. He's at the podium, and one of the local reporters there is they're getting ready, you know, obviously to leave in a couple days for Detroit.
right.
Well, let's hear her.
Is this really going to be asked?
Then they would gravitate towards him faster. And that's exactly what he did. And in doing that, you know, he invited all the attention to him from the guys, and they really look up
He's
to that. And
finishing
they
the
really
last
see
question.
the grit
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
toughness and the preparation that he does. And, you know, he's ingratiated himself with the team that way. And that's all I mean by him being himself.
Coach, looking forward towards Detroit. The weather has been a factor in some of the playoff games, even for the most prepared teams. Today it's 13 in Detroit, which doesn't compare to some of the temperatures we tend to talk to.
Right.
Any special plans to acclimate the team to not only endure but perform in those
plane
kind of
ride?
temperatures should you face them in Detroit?
Should
You
you
know,
face
we
him?
play indoors, right? And they got a dome. I don't. No, nothing planned. We're indoors, and we only have to be outside for 20 seconds, getting off the bus, going under the thing, so we'll be okay.
He handles it actually pretty well.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Considering-
giving him credit for that.
Like,
For not just going, you clown, you absolute clown. So that tells me when she is going, right now it's 13 degrees in Detroit, and like, you went as far as researching the weather in Detroit,
right. Like, you looked into it.
but you didn't know that they're playing in a dome. And I think she says, we can listen to it again. I think she says something along the lines of, if you end up playing in Detroit.
Yeah, she does say if you play.
If you
You're right,
play in
or something
Detroit.
like that. She
Right.
insinuates that
Like-
if that comes up.
Like, do you think that they're going to have a coin toss at the end of the week, and then we'll
Right.
decide where this game's being played? And,
Right.
And if you happen to lose that coin toss, you might have to go to Detroit and play where?
Right.
Where exactly do you think this is played at
You know,
Gold Tiger Stadium?
When I first brought it up, I legit thought maybe like the question meant like just like, oh, are you looking forward to going up and dealing with the cold weather? You know, we're down.
No.
I don't know. Like,
They're going from their bus to a hotel
Right.
and their bus to the stadium.
Right.
That's the extent of their trip to Detroit.
right.
If you wanted to ask their, you know, are you bringing your wife and kids, and are they going to kick around the city a little bit? Are they going to
Yeah.
be bundled up? Okay,
got-
that would be irrelevant to the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
But boy, oh boy, you got to be next level stupid to not know that they're playing in a dome
Right.
and ask that. Let's play it one more
Okay.
time.
I tried to
See
kinda-
if you can tell if this is a like. Why would they be keeping this under wraps as to who this brilliant young reporter is? And can you tell what this person is by the voice?
Detroit.
That's all I mean by him being himself.
Coach, looking forward towards Detroit. The weather has been a factor in some of the playoff games, even for the most prepared teams.
Yeah.
Today
Even for the
it's
most prepared
13 in Detroit, which
Yeah,
doesn't
13.
compare to some of the temperatures we tend to talk to. Any special plans to acclimate the team to not only endure but perform in those kind of frigid temperatures should you face them in Detroit?
Should you face them in
You
Detroit?
know, we play indoors, right? And they got a dome.
He's like, really?
I don't.
He doesn't know what to say.
No.
No, nothing planned. We're indoors, and we only have to be outside for 20 seconds, getting off the bus, going under the thing. So.
yeah, he handles it as well as he could, I would say.
Yeah.
Like without being mean to her, which he could have been.
And he could have just as easily said, we're playing in a dome. That's irrelevant. Next.
Yeah.
But to be like, I don't even know how to answer this. You might be the dumbest person I've ever heard. Can you tell what race someone is?
I would guess I know what you're getting at.
No. I know what I'm getting at too, but I'm just asking, does it sound like, oh yeah, that's a young black woman?
Yes.
Or it does. Okay. So that's not just me. And I'm being mostly joking about the affirmative action thing. Cause what that also could be is just any dipshit reporter at their local NBC Fox affiliate. That's a local, and you see the talent we have all over the airwaves here.
I was going to say, know more than anybody. Like the budget's not there anymore.
No,
so they're taking people that are right out of specs.
They're taking people that you would usually see in Market 200.
Yeah,
and now they're on the air in top 20 markets. They're in Detroit, they're in Philly, they're in Buffalo. They're all over, and they're not good. And I can't watch them. They're boom goes the dynamite guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They look barely prepared to be on air. they don't. It's like someone gave her a question as a joke and she just ran it down to the stadium.
What is it? Kind of like a
which is kind of what they do. And back in the day, this meant something like, oh, I can't wait to get home to watch Bernie's bloopers at the end of their, whatever stupid. But that's all there was.
Right.
And they're still trying to play by that rules, like as if anybody is going to your local Fox or NBC or ABC affiliate to hear their brain dead reporter go on the scene and ask one of these coaches a question about the football game.
Right.
I mean, give me a break. Nobody is doing that. I mean, maybe there's some 90-year-olds out there that are hanging around with an old school setup, and that's all they have is they know who their local channels are. But who the hell is those jobs can't pay more than $30,000 a year. Honestly,
it's got to be rough. But think of what you're going to get with that money, though. That's what
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough game in Ford Field.
Yeah.
The weather is going to be a real factor.
By the way, if you're worried about the weather, and I worry more about the fans making their way into the game. You know what I mean?
It sucked on Sunday.
It does.
It was fucking brutal.
I've been there, dude. I've been walking to that stadium when it's 12 below, and you're like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah, it sucks.
So they kick off at 3 o'clock, and the weather inside is a very controlled 70 degrees.
Right.
In case you were wondering. So I think even a Florida team like Tampa Bay can handle that. Can handle that. And I always think this is more blown up than it should be. Maybe that's not true in Green Bay or Buffalo, but for the most part, I don't think any of these guys like playing in that kind of weather. I just don't think they do. And maybe it's a little bit of a benefit to Buffalo guys. Or if you have a California team.
I think probably some of them do.
It must, because they talk about it constantly. But to me, it's just like none of the, so many of these guys are transplants from wherever they're from. None of them are from Green Bay or Buffalo or.
True, but people come from Big Ten teams and they get used to that kind of, cold fucking weather.
I guess, when Tooch and I were out in Arizona golfing with Co and my brother up north, it was probably 65 up there and sunny, blue skies.
Yeah.
And Tooch and I, we'd go out there and we'd get there kind of early for us. Some golfers get out there at 5 a.m., but we were getting out there like 9 for 10 o'clock tee time.
Yeah.
And so we'd have breakfast and we'd get out there and at 9 in the morning, the sun's come up and all that, but it's still brisk.
Right.
By the time you get to mid-round, it's much warmer.
Yeah.
But there's a time when it's like, we got sweatshirts on out here. You got a little zip-up jacket.
Yeah.
Within 3 holes, Tooch and I are in T-shirts.
Yeah.
We're in a collared shirt, and Tooch is probably in shorts, whatever. And my brother is in a winter hat and a fucking long sleeve shirt with a collar over it and a sweatshirt and gloves. And it's 65 and sunny.
Yeah.
And he definitely is. But for these football players, so the difference is he's been out there for so many years now.
Right.
That to him, it's fucking flat out freezing out. It's just freezing cold.
Yeah, it is cold.
70 degrees is absolutely sweater weather, cold.
Yeah.
To them. I got to think these players get acclimated in a few days, and it's just not that big a deal. But it must be. They all bitch about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always said this. I like when I went to Chicago this year, I liked it, man. I liked the atmosphere of being bundled up and seeing your breath, and I like it.
Yeah, I like watching it on TV just fine.
I would not have loved it this Sunday personally. Like when you get down to 1 degree, that would be rough for me.
Yeah.
But anything over, I would say 10 to 15, I like it. I'm a weirdo. I like that. I like seeing your breath. I can't
stand it.
Oh, I get it.
I'm freezing in here. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave that much
I wish,
anyways, but boy, oh boy, I just don't want anything to do with it.
I know it's better for the team, but I would be okay if the Ford Field was an outdoor stadium. I wouldn't have an issue with it.
I would too, because I was never going to go there anyway.
Well, but I'd like to go
you know
there.
What I mean? By the way, I was right. Did you see they did a story on, I saw it on one of the local, I think it was NBC, local DIV, I think they're reporting, not TV, but writing. They tracked down that dude that was crying in the stands that went everywhere. You know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
And I'm sure there were hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But that one made it onto the national broadcast.
Yeah.
And I was right in what I said to Henson. I said, well, that could be someone that's thinking about their father that had season tickets forever, blah, blah, blah. Like just like Cubs fans going to their dad's grave and, putting the radio there and listening in the last inning. And, and that's what it was with him, that his dad had gotten season tickets forever and passed them down to his son, something along those lines. And so it meant something different to him, that he was thinking about his grandfather and his father or whatever that were diehard Lions fans for all those years and just would have loved to have seen this.
Some people are going to be okay with the crying and some people aren't. I would say that, unfortunately.
And Greg Henson knows as well as anyone that he doesn't give a shit what you think about him, Greg Henson.
Yeah.
So, other people that get that emotional at stuff shouldn't give a shit what other people think of them.
I don't care, certainly.
That's a young man's game, caring what other people think of you.
I would have, I've thought about it more and more, and the only reason I think I didn't cry is because of, again, the weirdness of how the game kind of ended. It didn't end in this, to me,
dramatic fashion. Field goal goes through as a clock.
Something like that. Or they were up by 14 and the clock's just ticking down, and you kind of have this 5 minutes to really be like, holy shit, this is about to happen. It kind of all happened very fast to me.
Yeah.
And what for me personally.
No, it was confusing to us on the couch. Like, oh, wait a minute. Because it was inside 2 minutes, but they had one timeout. We probably shouldn't keep talking about this, but it is what it is. But yeah, either way, I just thought it was interesting that
emotion.
I just thought it was cool that DIV tracked that dude down and were able to tell that story, and it was exactly kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
That if you're having that kind of, but that could have just as easily been some dude that's in his 30s that's never seen this team.
It could have been
do anything, and do that's powerful stuff.
Right,
it just is. We put a lot of stock into our entertainers, celebrities, sports figures in this country more so than others.
Well,
it is what it is. And so there's a lot of emotion built up into it.
I had an absolute anxiety attack in that stadium.
Yeah.
Of nervous energy.
I did on the couch, man. I get it.
I had a moment where I wasn't sure if I could even go.
You're going to get to have that again this weekend, dude.
I don't think it will be the same, but I'm excited.
Oh, it will be. And it'll be doubly next week.
I don't really think it will. I'm not trying to be weird about it.
This team has a legit fucking line to the Super Bowl. They just do.
I know.
They just do. And maybe this isn't the year, but they're going to beat the Bucs on Saturday. They are. This team is what?
Sunday. Sorry.
Oh, the Niners play Saturday.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, I got that wrong earlier. You needed to correct me.
I thought I did correct you.
No, the Lions are Sunday, because...
because I'm happy the Packers are first because I get to know what our fate is going into that game.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't matter. At this point...
No, you're right.
Just do your thing. A lot of other stuff going on in the world today. We had the Iowa caucuses.
I heard that.
Yeah. Absolute fucking ass-whooping. Hilarious. Like, all these people taking on Trump...
Now, you've gotta forgive me because I'm not nearly keeping up like you are.
Yeah.
What is the state that he was not going to be on the ballot or something? Colorado. Okay.
That'll get thrown out. That'll get overturned.
But I just wanted to.
No, they're just protecting democracy.
Of
Keep that
course.
in mind. They're just protecting democracy. So Gotta protect them. They wouldn't
From
let
ourselves.
him when he was
We're protecting
giving
you for yourself, for your safety.
Yeah. Because the news anchors know more than you do, and the networks know more than you. So we can't even I don't know if you saw, but a lot of the networks, CNN, MSNBC, didn't take Trump's speech after blowing out everybody in the Iowa caucuses. They didn't say that because they didn't show that because they know what's best for you. And they're protecting democracy over there at CNN and MSNBC. So we can't even let you see what Trump's saying.
Because you might be, because the insinuation, by the way, is that you're so sponge-minded or sponge-brained that if you even see him, you're gonna.
It's triggering to a lot of people. It's very triggering.
By the way.
So
I'm sure Massey was.
And the ironic thing is, Trump was talking about. He was very low key, and he was talking about wanting nothing more than to unite this country.
I heard that. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Democrats, people on the right, we need to fix this country and what's going on with it right now. We all recognize what it is, and it's time to come together and heal. That message will never work, by the way. I'm not stupid enough to think that anybody that has Trump derangement syndrome or anything would ever give that guy a chance.
Right.
But it is so fucked up and broken right now that this dude won in a runaway landslide, got 50% of the vote. Over DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, all of them buried.
For what it's worth, from what I heard, only like 14% of the people even voted, though.
It's the Republican caucus.
So is that not very popular? Probably.
Well, no, they take it very seriously there.
Yeah,
but it's a certain group, and it's just voting for the Republican and blah blah blah. And it was minus 20 degrees out.
I wonder. I'd be curious what normal turnouts for that are. You know?
It was probably fair, but he won 50 of the 51 counties.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely ran away with it. So captured every county but one. Exit polling, which was the strongest performance in the caucus's 50-year history, shows the former president's dominance in nearly every demographic or issue. Trump polled as the far and away favorite, usually by double digits. He won caucus goers without a college degree by double digits. He had similar results who consider themselves very conservative, rural voters. President also decisively took white evangelical caucus goers, no shock there, which more than doubled the next two closest candidates, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. So he got 55, and they got a combined 24 and 13. DeSantis 24, Nikki Haley 13. When it came to topics, Trump was again in control. Top issue polled, immigration. He also was the favorite for those worried about the economy and those who valued a strong leader with sufficient mental capabilities. That's not usually a question.
Why is that being asked?
Yeah, that's weird. Even when it came to legal challenges, caucus goers were largely unfazed by the indictments and overwhelmingly viewed them as political attacks against Trump. Only 20% said Trump was legitimately being investigated, while 80% chalked it up to partisan attacks. 2 in 10, just 15%, felt he did something illegal regarding stuff on January 6th. In his attempt to interfere with the vote count in that election or the classified documents found in his Florida home. Moreover, about 6 in 10 felt Biden was not elected legitimately. 60% of them say he was not elected legitimately. And Trump won in 2020. Ben Shapiro sounded off on his victory. Donald Trump is so far out ahead that the rest of the field can't even see him. This is Secretariat against the rest of the field in the 73 Belmont. It means that de facto Trump is the nominee. If no one can challenge him in Iowa, if nobody really has a chance of challenging him based on the momentum going to New Hampshire, if nobody has a challenge for him in South Carolina, all you can say at this point is that he's preparing for the general against Biden. Here's what I would say about this. Because DeSantis is strong. He's got a track record in Florida. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley is her own person. I really like Vivek Ramaswamy. I like having someone with a business sense coming to the table. I've said that even when I was a stupid kid who didn't understand this stuff. It was like, boy, it'd be nice to see someone run this goddamn thing like a business.
Right.
Instead of just like, give me all the money and I'll spend it however I want.
Yeah.
Recklessly however I want. And I'll just push my social programs. That never made sense. And so I think Trump, he doesn't need to debate. He doesn't need to do a ton of shit, even though he was in Iowa plenty. It's because they've already seen him in office.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation.
They've already seen his policies. They've already seen them work.
Right.
Like that, it's not just political rhetoric with him, which it usually is. That's usually what you get with politicians. That's what led to someone like Trump. Hate him or love him. That's what led to him is people got really tired of politician speak.
Yeah.
And so this dude, while he spoke, and some could argue that his rhetoric was not great and healthy for the country, and I understand that, they did see his policies work, which is why they're like, yeah, well, maybe, Nikki, maybe in 4 years, but no, we know what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
No, DeSantis, maybe in 4 years, Vivek, that sounds cute. No, Chris Christie, that'll never happen. So put it away. Sorry. Sorry, dude. That's never going to happen. So, yeah, and Joe Biden took issue with this, of course. And this is such a stupid take. It's so offensive. And I don't think it works. I really don't think it works. Maybe it does to really stupid people out there that aren't willing to accept reality on some level. But President Dementia said Donald Trump is the clear front runner for the Republican nomination, arguing this will be me versus MAGA Republicans. He knows what he's saying when he says MAGA Republicans or extreme MAGA Republicans or alt-right MAGA.
He knows what they told him to say.
Right. So whoever wrote it for him knows what they're saying.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows what he's saying.
Here's the thing. This election was always going to be you and me versus extreme MAGA Republicans. What is this, a WWE wrestling match?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just stop. It was true yesterday. It'll be true tomorrow. He entered his observation. Yeah, a lot of observations coming out of President Soup with a plea for donations for his reelection bid. Biden told the Reverend Al Sharpton, see, he loves going on places that he knows he's going to get absolutely zero pushback at all. I give credit to Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis when they go on CNN.
Yeah.
They're not going to get nerf balled over there.
Right.
But Joe Biden won't go on anybody but CBS Morning News or Reverend Al Sharpton.
How is he going to campaign again?
He's not.
Yeah, okay. They'll just kind of.
They have two choices. And one of them is not let him campaign.
Yeah.
They either replace him or stuff him away somewhere.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing with our vice president. Our vice president's not being seen because every time she's shown in public, she makes an asshole of herself.
Right.
Complete and utter asshole of herself.
So they'll just kind of have him make little memos or whatever. He'll send things out and some other people will be on the trail.
Just beg for money. And every time he goes somewhere, it's embarrassing. It's crickets, man. And it's just like people paid to be there. I don't know. Who's showing up for that. And I don't blame Democrats. They might like, I'm voting that way no matter what. So, but they're not going to go hang out at his shit.
Right.
It's hard to get behind a really cool 81-year-old white man.
Yeah.
Like that is the
funny thing about it.
It's ironic in the least. Unironic too. So yeah, he said it. He told Al Sharpton he's running for a second term because Trump is the most anti-democratic president in American history.
Okay, I don't know how you quantify that. But.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that when Trump's given his victory speech afterwards, that in the name of democracy, you wouldn't show us the videos. Right. So that's interesting. Huh. But yeah, he's the most undemocratic. Gotcha. Things Trump is saying, things that Trump says are just off the wall. He's the most anti-democratic with a small d president in American history.
Wait, what was that?
Is that a double entendre? Small d Democrat? And small dick? Is Joe Biden trying to don't even bring up dicks and nude things, Joe. Your son is such a creep over here that we're still dealing with a fallout from him.
I wonder how they did stop him from sniffing people's hair throughout this, because you don't.
I don't know
see
that
the video.
They have. They just keep people away from him.
That could be it.
Yeah,
he just doesn't talk to the public.
Right. They don't want him on stages. He turns into, who was that famous city? He looks like a Roomba on stage, just kind of bouncing around,
hilarious,
looking for an exit. I think it was Shane Gillis. Fucking great. The things he's saying, and he means them. He's talking about he's running to get revenge on people. It's just outrageous things.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking that. What are you talking about? He actually did make a quote on that, Trump. and was like,
What do
there's so much to do. I don't have time to go on a revenge tour against these against these swamp monsters.
Yeah.
No. The president has faced scrutiny over his decision to run for another 4 years, citing poor approval ratings and concerns about his age. He's Trump at 77 hasn't faced the same scrutiny of his age. Yeah, because anyone with half a fucking brain knows all senior citizens aren't the same mentally.
Right.
Like, do we really have to have this conversation? Are you fucking with us right now?
Right.
Are you fucking with us? My grandfather died on his 90th birthday, and the guy could literally clear the board on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe Biden could clear the board on Jeopardy
No,
today?
I would say no.
No. My grandpa fell apart. Yes, cancer got him. But at 90, the guy was fucking sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
One of the smartest guys you'd know. So, no, not all
No, not all people
75-year-olds
are the same. You're right.
I know people that are 65 and look like absolute shit. My parents are playing tennis and golf every day at 76.
Right.
Like, there's a massive difference
Right.
between people.
Yeah.
Massive. So this idea that, well, why isn't anyone giving Trump scrutiny? I don't know, because he hasn't given them a reason to.
It's funny that you can't, you just can't sit there. Obviously, they can't. I know why. I mean, we know why. But, you can't sit there and be like, I fucking hate the guy, but it's obviously he knows where he is. You know what I mean? Because it's not possible to say, I disagree with everything he stands for.
Yeah.
But, he knows where he knows how to say a sentence without mumbling.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's on a stage and he knows where he is.
Seems kind of important for a politician who half his job is just speaking eloquently to people.
Right.
Like, that's your job.
It must be so weird to just not be able to
And
admit to faults. I didn't vote for Trump the last time. You know what I mean? And I don't know that I will again necessarily.
Yeah.
But on the same hand, it's just weird that you can't admit faults on things that you like. You can be like, hey, I don't like Trump. I wish Biden. Fuck, man. Can we get somewhere else? I don't want Trump, but can we get somebody else other than Biden? You couldn't just say, is there nobody else in the goddamn Democratic Democratic Party that we can have?
Yeah.
Can no one just find? And,
who wants that job? It doesn't pay extremely well, and
if you want it to, it can.
Well, yeah, that's true. But no, dude, it's a lose-lose because you can't get anywhere without people climbing up the backs of people who came before you, and the only way to get there is to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's a really tough spot. It's a lose-lose for almost anybody.
But it's just
which is
weird
why
to me.
slick politicians work, which is why, as disgusting as it sounds, someone like Gavin Newsom has a legit shot of being president of this country.
Right.
As insane as that sounds, if you've seen what he's done to California, it's insane to think that you'd put that guy in charge of the country. But he speaks eloquently. He's slick. He's greasy. He's got that look. He'll wink at a fucking baby. He's that guy. And he'd be a disaster across the board. But you know what? We could get that because people are stupid.
Right.
So we'll see.
Everyone,
I
have fun with your choices, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's getting dangerous, and so much of this is dangerous to me. We did not see this 10 years ago. We just didn't. And Joy Reid at it again. I mean, she's probably one of the most racist people in America, but she declared white Christians were to blame after multiple media outlets projected a decisive victory for Trump in the Iowa caucus. Reid pointed out the fact that 61% of Iowans are white Christians, and then claimed they are primarily supported Trump because they believe God had given the United States to them, and Trump would help them get it back.
Well,
That's not why I would vote for him.
Yeah.
For the record, I don't know. She didn't interview me.
Right. Well,
that.
You don't live in Iowa, I guess. But.
Yeah. Before the caucuses, she had sought the advice of Robert Jones, who is the president and founder of Public Religion Research Institute, or the PRRI, and author of The Hidden Roots of White Supremacy. We're really digging for roots. We want roots of everything. We got to find them roots. Whether it's illegal immigration or racism or white supremacy, we got to find them roots. So if you put roots in the title of your book, you're good. You're off to a good start. White Christians see themselves as the rightful inheritors of this country, and Trump has promised to give it back to them. I don't remember him saying that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's their takeaway from Make America Great Again. Like they're just jumping to the conclusion that means we go back to the days of the Klan.
I don't think he says that. I think there are people that believe that. I don't think that's what he's promising. Or
No,
promise.
No, not at all. It's interesting. Like, what do they think? We're going back to Jim Crow, or we're going back to, some sort of
I don't know,
Klan rallies? I mean, both of those, by the way, were hardcore Democrats. That the Klan was started by the Democrats. Just saying.
Right.
So were Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
Those were all 100% Democrat. But whatever. Joy Reid doesn't mention that. So she's accusing the right of wanting to go back to that. That's interesting. All the things we think about electability, about what are people gaming out, but none of that matters when you believe that God has given you this country, that it is yours, and everyone who is not white, conservative, Christian is a fraudulent American, is less than American. Then you don't care about electability. You care about what God has given you. Boy, I don't run in packs of those people.
Yeah.
Does that person exist? I probably.
Yeah. Yes, they do. But
Yeah.
but I don't think it's. I don't think it's.
I don't know them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't know anyone who fits that call.
No, I don't. As well.
She claimed racism in the Republican Party was the reason for Governor Nikki Haley's third place finish behind Trump and DeSantis. It's the elephant in the room. She's still a brown lady that's got to try to win in a party that is deeply anti-immigrant and which accepts the notion you can say immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. Okay, I don't know who's saying that, but okay. Nikki Haley's brown?
I was just looking.
I didn't know that. That's new to me. I didn't know Kamala Harris was either.
Based on these images, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I wasn't aware Kamala Harris was a black lady.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean she's culturally appropriated white people hair, I guess. She certainly doesn't look like any black woman I've ever seen, but that's okay. It didn't matter to me until they told me.
Right.
I wouldn't have known anyway. And Nikki Haley, this is news to me. I didn't know she was a brown lady.
Yeah.
Cool. That had nothing to do with it. Here's the thing that you don't understand, Joy. Like I said, we've got 4 years of examples from President Trump about policy, not him as a person, policy.
Yeah.
And you've also got many years of DeSantis on policy in Florida that people are attracted to. That is much more of the reason, because what Nikki Haley has done in South Carolina is not nearly as impressive as what DeSantis has gotten through in Florida, in my humble opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe they're just going, ooh, fuck that. She's a woman and brown. Ugh. But I would say no. DeSantis made many more waves and was very much more disruptive to the whole DEI push, ESG bullshit, the woke shit. He was doing that in Florida and got record voting, like out of this world record turnout voters for him.
Correct. Yeah.
So that is why my guess is that Trump and DeSantis did better than Nikki Haley in the Iowa caucuses for no other reason but that. So she's getting birthered by Donald Trump, okay? And I don't know how much the donor class likes her, which will ramp up a lot the better she does in New Hampshire. It's still a challenge. What a leap. So, in other words, what Joy Reid is saying is I have no idea who these people are that I trash all the time. I've never talked to them.
Right.
I don't run in circles with them. I've never taken the time to sit down with them and interview them and see what's important to these people in the middle of the country. No, we're just going to throw them all away. But just know, people, you are not the bigot and you are not the racist. That would be Joy Reid. And you could throw homophobic in there too, because she got caught writing blogs shitting on gay people.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And then blamed it on a hack. Said a hack happened. No, Joy Reid, that was your hateful bullshit you were spilling in those blogs about gay people. So on top of
How long ago was this? Do you know?
A few years ago.
Okay.
So on top of your bigotry and your fucking absolute racism, you're also a homophobic person. And I don't throw that around lightly because I don't use those words as weapons. But you've shown yourself to be who you are. And it wasn't in a joking fashion. Like yesterday when he said something about Garrett being a cocksucker.
Yeah.
That's in a joking fashion.
Right.
What you were writing was in no way a joke. It was how you felt about gay people. So take that, Joy Reid. So I don't know how many people are still listening to her drivel and shit. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's to rile up people like me. I don't know. But I just don't like watching good people get stuck in this thing like There's a lot of people in the South and there's a lot of people in the Midwest that are just good people.
Right.
Period. They're not looking to fuck your world up. They don't want to ruin your day. They're welcoming and inviting and helpful and good-natured, wholesome people. And they just want to get through this life, and they work incredibly hard, and that's who they are. And you're shitting all over them because you disagree with the way they vote. It's incredible to me. It really is.
No, it's wild.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Certainly. It would be weird to talk to some of these people, like actually meet them. Like say she could, came down and sat down here. You know
Who,
what I mean?
Joy Reid?
Yeah.
She would never do it.
No, I know that.
I'd have
but
her on tomorrow, but she would never
Oh,
fucking
no, I
do
know
it.
that. But
yeah.
it'd just be very interesting to run into them in a real situation,
Yeah.
I guess, and ask.
Yeah. They're fraudulent human beings is what they are. And you can equally say that about tons of people on the right that are in media. They're
Of
just
course.
they're cashing massive paychecks. Half of them probably don't even believe what they're spewing. They're just getting a paycheck to say it. And,
Yeah.
But by you really are taking the heart and soul of this country and shitting all over it. And I'm sorry, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to broad brush an entire group of people and paint them as white nationalist conservatives who hate brown people and immigrants. Like, I've never heard anybody say that. Maybe there's people out there saying that.
I would say especially the immigrant thing, to be honest with you. I think there, you got to get into color and skin. There are people have issues for some reason, but like immigrants, I would say I don't really ever remember somebody legit being like, yeah, we need to get these immigrants out of the country.
No.
Like for real. Like
Well,
there's people that might make Mexican jokes or something, I suppose, but like immigrant joke, like legit, like we need no more immigrants. I've never heard it.
No. What that battle comes down to, and this isn't news to you, E. This is mincing of words between illegal immigrants and immigrants to the nation.
No, for sure.
That's all this is. But when you choose purposely to take out of context and take what people are saying and just go, oh, they're talking about all immigrants. Well, that's disingenuous to your audience, first off, and it breeds more and more division. That's all it does. It leads to more fights because people believe someone like Joy Reid, that anybody who has white skin hates immigrants. Well, no, that's not true, and that's not true. I don't know anybody that hates all immigrants.
Right.
I know lots of people who are very, very frustrated with a broken system with no one wants to fix, and just throwing that at us and going, yeah, what? Who wouldn't want 8 million illegals pouring into your country?
Right.
That you don't know where they're from. You have no idea what their background is. You have no idea what their intentions are.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable anywhere on planet Earth. Never has been. Why would it be now? And it's disgusting. The administration right now, the dementia administration, Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, is demanding Texas relinquish control of a border park the Texas National Guard occupied last week as part of the state's crackdown on illegal immigration. In a cease and desist letter to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the DHS said that the Texas National Guard needs to cede control of Shelby Park in Eagle Pass back to Border Patrol. There have been surges of illegals coming through into Texas through Shelby Park, and Texas has argued that federal officials have only exacerbated the crisis, leading to the state to block off access to the area to federal agents. And they're demanding to be let back in. We're the federal agency.
Right.
And he's going, no, fuck you. You can't just let people run roughshod over our border. If you're not going to protect it, we are.
Yeah.
God bless you, Texas. Texas is doing what they have to do, and that's what Texas does.
Yeah.
They threaten to secede all the time.
Right.
They're as American as you get.
For sure.
Like, they play by their own rules, and I wouldn't fuck with them. I just wouldn't. I don't want to get into a fight with Texas.
No, I would agree with that.
The recent actions by the state of Texas have impeded operations of the Border Patrol. Those actions conflict with the authority and duties of the Border Patrol under federal law and are preempted under the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. Texas's actions are also improperly seek to regulate the federal governments. Yeah, the problem is the federal government's not doing shit.
Right.
The whole country sees it. Do you not understand that? It's gotten to the point where the Texas National Guard has been called in to address a situation that you refuse to address. Like, this didn't happen in a vacuum. This didn't happen overnight. You let this go on, administration, for whatever fucking reason, and it can only be nefarious. There's no reason to just wildly let millions of people come into the country that all look of male fighting age, by the way, majority of them. That's not lost on some people. And then fly them to states all over the country and just let them go.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that, ever, unless you think at some point down the road you can flip some of these red states to purple and blue by allowing these people to vote. That's the only thing that makes sense. If there's another reason, I'd love to hear it. I'm all ears. I'm all ears as to what the other reason could be. No one has the other reason. In fact, what they tell me is, you're racist even if you think these people don't belong here. They're fleeing whatever they're fleeing. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. It doesn't work like that anywhere else in the world. It doesn't work like that here historically. While Texas has claimed it has reopened the use of Shelby Park to the public, well, that's nice of them, it continues to prevent Border Patrol from entering and from using this area under the adjacent port of entry where Border Patrol has certain property stored for use when migrants are apprehended. The DHS wants Texas to remove all barriers to access they have put up in the park and give the federal government access to the area. It said it would consider all options to end Texas's control of the area if Texas does not follow the DHS's request. So what does that mean? You're going to go to war with Texas? Is that what you mean? Are you gonna pull arms on your American citizens? What, because Texas puts up barriers to illegals crossing into their state that you just don't do anything with? You expect them to handle it? What do you want Texas to do? Just let them in, let them run roughshod through the country and off through the nation where they go? I mean, and when Greg Abbott decides, fine, fuck it, you want to brag about what a welcoming community you are, and you're a sanctuary city, we'll just bus them all to you. See how you like dealing with an influx of people that you didn't invite here. See how you like it. And you know what? It turns out you don't like it. You don't like it at all. All of a sudden, you want to turn off the light and act like no one's home. Well, it doesn't work that way. So we're at a real standstill here, and the DHS sounds like they're threatening the Texas National Guard with some sort of what? Civil war? I mean, what does that mean? You're going to issue another statement? You're going to give them a red card? What does that mean exactly? And the question is, why do you want control? Texas took control again because you refused to do your job, and Texas isn't going to be bullied. That's what it comes down to. So if somebody from the Biden administration, don't just tell me it's always been broken, because it's never been like this before. This is new, what we're seeing now. So don't act like, oh yeah, it's always been broken, always been broken. No, it hasn't always been broken like this. So I don't know, man. I don't know where this goes, but to just point fingers, and anybody that has even a small question about it, like, boy, this doesn't seem safe. This doesn't seem legal. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem fair. Anybody that says that is not automatically a racist who hates immigrants. That's not fair, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying?
I do, Michael.
Sorry, I'm leaving you out.
Well, I don't really have much to add.
I haven't had time to bitch about much of this stuff here.
I don't have much to add to it. So
I know I'm kind of hogging the mic here.
It's all good. It's crazy. I mean,
you're someone with a bleeding heart, E. Do you see it as like, what are these people? What harm are they causing?
No, I don't see it like that. I definitely am for immigration. But obviously in a legal way, of course.
Yeah.
And
And if you want to have a legal way, and the bitch there is, you know what? It's not fair that it takes 10 fucking years if I want to go through the process to become an American citizen.
Well,
and if people want to have an argument, go, look, man, I can study and take that test in 3 years.
Yeah.
If there's a faster way to do that, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand that people are like, God damn, my life's on hold for 15 years while I'm trying to get in this country.
And I don't know how long it takes. I should have looked into sometime how long it takes, because I think even legally coming here, if you're an immigrant legally, I don't think you just have to wait 15 years to get the test. I think you're allowed to be here on like a temporary visa situation, and you're like,
lots of them
right?
are. I'm not going to pretend it's easy.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's not. But you're right. They let them into the country with visas that expire and with court dates many years out in the future.
Yeah.
You know, to have that hanging over you probably isn't easy. I know there's loopholes, and it's like, oh yeah, this is my fiance, and it's somebody who doesn't even speak the language. You're
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is technically legal, right? I mean,
Right.
hypothetically,
Yeah.
I could just marry
I
someone.
found my soulmate in Ukraine. You know,
Right.
some 23-year-old smoking hottie that doesn't speak a lick of English, but
I mean, that's a workaround, but it's a legal workaround, I
yeah,
would say.
lots of people have done it. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Green card marriage.
Hell yeah, that's been going on forever. So, anyway, did you see what? Were you
Oh,
saying?
no, nothing, I guess. All I was going to say was it had nothing to do with the thing. But when I was driving around now 2 years ago, actually, which is crazy. But there was a point when we were down really close to that border where we actually saw like the big green wall, like
Yeah.
going from San Diego over to Phoenix,
Yeah,
right, or something.
yeah, sure.
That was wild, man.
Yeah.
It was kind of wild looking over and just seeing it.
And
like,
a border?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we've seen it in Michigan, we've seen Canada, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Because you know what the situation is. You know that there's a lot going. There's a more tenuous situation with the Mexican-American border.
Yeah.
And like I said, yeah, driving. at
Well,
one
it's
point-
weird. If you wanted, you could technically swim around that wall.
I know.
That wall doesn't go extend around the earth.
No, I
You know what I
know.
mean? Like in San Diego, it just kind of goes out a little bit,
Right.
and then it stops.
Right. And it was just weird. It was wild seeing like the actual kind of wall, quote unquote, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was all I was gonna say. Nothing crazy.
This is something I've talked about for many years, actually, is that be careful what you wish for, in that I don't think just because someone's a foreigner, just because someone's from a foreign country, doesn't mean that they're going to fall in line with whatever like radical shit you want to impart on them.
Yeah. No, you're right. They're still a human being themselves who might fucking see things.
That they're not necessarily just going to jump on board like, oh, your teacher's not a girl, she's a guy now, and
Yeah.
you deal with it. And we don't need to inform you when your kid starts to transition in 3rd grade.
Right.
If you think that immigrant communities are going to fall in line with that shit, I think you're sadly mistaken.
I would agree with that.
A lot. I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to go over
I think
well
that's an
at all.
American thing for the most part.
Yeah. It's going on in other places. But
I know.
Studies are coming out now. 68% of U.S. adults say the Supreme Court's decision to ban race as a factor in college admissions was mostly a good thing. Like affirmative action, get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah.
68% in this poll. That goes for all types of voters. Big majorities of white people, Asian people who are getting fucked over all the time by
Yeah,
those.
yep.
Hispanic Americans voiced support for the end of race-based admissions. Even among black people, most respondents said they did not want special treatment.
Yeah.
52 to 48% when it came to black Americans called the ruling a good thing. 52% called it a good thing. Survey comes as affirmative action. DEI efforts have sparked heated nationwide debate. Elon Musk, he tweeted out, DEI must DIE. DEI must die.
Yeah.
Because it amounts to reverse racism.
So this happened? They came out, they did, the Supreme Court ruled on this?
In certain places,
Okay.
there are lawsuits that have been where people are going, this is bullshit, and you need to make an argument as to why this is acceptable.
Yeah, okay.
And it doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
Gotcha.
Because it's making decisions based on skin color,
Yeah.
which is like, one of the things we've tried to get through in this country for a long time.
I would argue that maybe there was a time when it was needed, 40, 50 years ago.
Maybe.
But I
Yeah.
would say we've passed that point. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I could understand the intentions by it, and I
Well-
think that at a time, maybe they need to be like, look at, dude, they're just not letting any fucking...
It's a really shitty situation because our inner city schools
That's the other problem.
are so fucked up that these kids don't legitimately have a chance.
Right.
And you're not doing them any favors, unfortunately, by going, oh yeah, let's microwave you right on through to the Ivy Leagues.
No, that doesn't help either.
help. And it doesn't help to fast track them through in curriculum that's way over their head. Now, that's not in any way saying that, oh, these people are too stupid to do it. It's like, no, my scholastic background would not. If someone said, you know what, we need a guy like you at Harvard. You seem like a real Harvard man to me.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have excelled at Harvard.
No,
I would have struggled mightily because I wouldn't have been prepared.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah,
obviously.
right? So, that goes. So the Supreme Court in June of 23 issued a landmark ruling against race-conscious admissions programs at 2 universities, effectively prohibiting affirmative action policies on U.S. campuses. So once the first domino falls, the rest are right behind it.
Yeah.
So Gallup surveyed 12,000 people, almost 12,500 people. That's a lot for a survey. You usually need about 2,000 or 1,000
Gotcha.
to then do the math equation out and go like this. That's how they do the percentages. They don't interview every American. So 12,000.
I've never been interviewed once, Mike.
Me either. 12,443 adults. That's a pretty good size Gallup poll there. So they were Gallup surveyed all these adults about the ruling late last year and released the results yesterday. According to Gallup, that ruling receives fairly wide public support. Respondents broadly agreed that the ruling would have a positive impact on America's higher education system. Most said the ruling and the end of affirmative action would not make it significantly harder or easier for members of their ethnic group to get a college place. Black people were, however, concerned about this. 52% said getting into university would be tougher now. Scholars have shown that the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action schemes in colleges and workplaces over recent decades has been... Who do you think it's benefited the most over these last few decades?
I feel like this is, I don't know. I almost feel like you're trapping me into something.
I'm not trapping you in anything. It's a simple question.
I'm going to say white people.
Well, you got to be more specific than that.
I don't know.
White bitches.
White. I was going to say white girls.
White
I was going to say
bitches.
white girls.
Yes, not racial minorities.
By the way,
Racial minorities are, once again, but if everybody just thinks off the top of their head, and the reason you said white people, I think this is a trick question, is because you knew what the obvious answer would have been.
Yeah.
What's the obvious
Black
answer?
people.
Black people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you felt uncomfortable even saying it.
Right.
Which is why I asked you the question.
Yeah.
Because I knew if people are being honest and they said, who benefits most from affirmative action in this country? Your natural response is going to be, well, I mean, I thought it was for black people. I'm assuming it's black people. No, it's white women, not racial minorities. So that should tell you something, too, that black people would probably feel pretty fucking uncomfortable with that. Like them going, no, motherfucker, I didn't get somewhere I didn't deserve to be. I wasn't fast-tracked through shit.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be asking Karen over here how she got into this college.
Right.
Because she was helped out more than my people were, and you automatically assumed I got a handout.
you know what's funny, by the way? This is a little off the subject, and I don't know why I see them sometimes. Like on my Facebook, I'll see like literally like 3-minute clips from Stern's show through interviews, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you only get 3 minutes at a time randomly, and I don't know how I see them, but I see them. And I saw Stamos on there, and at one point they talked about like that deal with his co-star from Full House, you know, and what went down with the college, her kid getting to college.
Oh, Lori.
Yeah.
Was it Lori? No, Lori Life. Oh, jeez. No. Lori Laughlin.
Maybe. I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
her name,
she's married to Mosimo.
It was just funny because how he talked about it.
Who was doing the interview?
Stern.
Stern was doing the interview
with John Stamos.
Stamos, okay. Yeah, him and Stamos are longtime friends.
And how he talked about it, he seemed like a nice guy. He really did. But
John?
he was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he still was like, because I listened to about 4 of his other little clips. They're like, oh, what happened to the Fuller House reunion and whatever, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So he seemed good in those ones. But, you know, then again, you go to his fucking friend who fucking absolutely cheated to get her kid into college. And he's kind of like, oh, I was texting her that day, and I was like, man, do you know what's going on? And he tried to, of course, be like, you know, anyone would do whatever they could for their kid, I would assume. And this, and it's like, dude, no, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I made that argument, and you and Jay jumped all over me. I was like, because I was like, everything I see from my friends who have kids and parents that I know would do anything for their fucking stupid kids. I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
But don't tell me if you had $500 million in the bank like Lori Laughlin and Mosimo do, that they wouldn't go, oh, for $50,000 or for $500,000, we can get our girls in a crew scholarship. Yeah. I would think a lot of people around here would milk that system.
And what was our argument? You said we were.
You guys were like, no, wrong is wrong. Fuck you. You don't cheat the system to get in.
That is still how I feel.
You still have the same argument, which is right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I know a lot of fucking parents around here that would do whatever they could.
Yeah.
You know, it's once again, it's the well-to-do people that get away with this shit.
Of course.
The well-to-do can afford to send their kids to special programs to help their kids. I see it firsthand in my family. Marshall has advantages that other kids don't have.
Right.
And if he's going to struggle somewhere, you better believe the warden and my brother are going to get him the help he needs.
Yeah.
And lots of kids didn't have that opportunity.
For sure. And by the way,
Tons of them.
you know what's funny? All these people.
That doesn't mean he's going to bribe a college to
yeah.
fake get him on the crew team. I'm not saying that.
It was just, I only thought about it when you talked about college, and I just thought about him sitting here, and he seemed like a cool, like I said, in the other interviews, he seemed like a cool dude, but like, he's sitting here trying to justify it, and I'm like, dude, no.
And what was Howard doing? Was Howard
levered.
Pushing back or going, oh, yeah, absolutely, John?
I think he just kept saying it, and so you were like, asking him, like, so you were texting her that day? I don't remember exactly, but I just remember sitting there going, dude, no, she was wrong. She did, whether we want to sit here and how wrong it really was. And
I've said it forever, E, about what a
and I do wrong shit
that
too, by
community
the way.
in Hollywood is much smaller than you think.
Yeah.
It's a very, very
that doesn't shock me.
Inner circle, elitist. They're all hanging out together, all the top stars that you see.
Right.
Like they're all of one mindset. You know,
he's not going to sit there and be like,
no,
oh, yeah. Well.
No. John Stamos has, he's friends with probably 50 or 100 people that could have been caught up in that scandal.
Yeah.
And they probably bragged about it at social parties.
Right.
They probably honestly had it was probably like, ugh, how are the kids this year, honey?
Right.
And it's like, oh, you wouldn't believe. I had to pay $500,000 to this fucking recruiter to get her into USC.
Yeah.
Makes me sick. What's happening to these kids, John? We're stuck paying $500,000 to even get them into the school now.
Right.
I know, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
What happened to the work ethic with these children? They should work hard and just get in there. Now they're strong-arming us into paying these exorbitant fees.
Yeah, you're probably right.
When I went to USC, my dad only had to donate $20,000 to get me in. Now it's $500,000. This is outrageous.
Yeah.
They probably victim themselves like that,
I'm sure.
you know?
And you're right. I didn't expect him necessarily to shit on her, but it's just funny when I don't know. It's just funny.
Which is why it's so funny, too, when someone like Joy Reid is like, oh, these people think God gave them the country and that it's theirs to do with as they please.
Right.
No, the elites think that this world was given to them. And, whether it's John Kerry flying over all over the world on private jets when you could do it on Zooms.
Yeah.
No, it's fine for the rest of us to fucking never have a gas stove and never be able to fly private all over the world, even one time in your life. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And let's try to limit our driving while he zips all over the world on a private jet.
Right.
And doesn't see how fucking hypocritical and ironic it is that he's doing it.
Right.
And thinks you're an asshole for even questioning him. And it's like, no, dude. It's the same elitist attitude they've always had. Do as I say, not as I do.
By the way, for some of these, for whole talk of even like, getting into these universities, I'd tell these people, don't fucking go to university. What are you doing?
Those daughters didn't want to go.
Go to fucking trade school.
They didn't even want to go.
Yeah.
They were making more money as TikTok stars.
Yeah.
Hawking
no,
bullshit.
I'm talking about back to your other thing, even like with the fucking, African Americans or this
Oh,
and that,
yeah.
like in scholarships as far as getting I'm saying, what are you fucking going to Harvard for anyway?
Yeah.
Go to fucking, just a fucking trade
Just to
school or
say
something.
you went to Harvard.
I
That's
know
what it's
why,
about. Yeah, it's advocates say DEI schemes bring more black, brown, female, and queer talent into offices and colleges and raise morale across the board. Do they? Do you really believe that? Or do they breed unending resentment knowing the playing field wasn't level? Because what people hate more than anything is hypocrisy and fairness being fucked with. They don't like that. So when you act like, oh yeah, by uplifting queer people, eventually people are going to take advantage of that and go, yeah, I fucking love cock. Let me into your school.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is that what you want? Do you want people lying on their admissions test? Do we not know how this plays out when it's not a meritocracy? This country was built on a meritocracy. Sorry. And it doesn't, you're not doing any favors for people that didn't ask for these favors, by the way, because it makes other people look at them like they don't belong to be there. It should be like getting into the NFL. I want meritocracy in the NFL. Thank God it's still like that. I don't want to know what, Oh God, we don't have enough queer queer women on the team. Yeah, they don't belong on the fucking team. Sorry. You know, when one of them's running a 4.3 40 and can knock the shit out of you, talk to me. Until then, no, they don't belong there. Critics say they're a woke virtue signaling exercise that fosters backlash discrimination against straight white men in offices nationwide. DEI teams end up butting heads with longstanding employees thanks to their compulsory training in tackling racial bias, microaggressions, and white privilege. Yeah, that's not good. It's not good, but it's good to see that there's a lot of pushback on some of that stuff, and you're seeing it. I have another poll. A new survey found that nearly 3 out of every 4 Americans believe that parents should be able to opt their kids out of public school subjects they believe are immoral or objectionable. And I think both of those things are key.
I think it's arguable that you should be able to opt them out of public schools.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But
or immoral or objectionable, or any reason the parent feels.
If you really think about
because the sky's blue, you should be able to opt your kid out of a program.
No offense, the idea that you even need to go to public school.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, if you really think about it, why?
Yeah.
Why technically? Why do you need to go?
Well, you can homeschool.
I
think a lot more people are doing that, but
because it's fucking just, I mean, whatever. I think a lot of schooling is kind of a scam, but
yeah. Well, it's a government program, and it's run like shit,
and it's really just there to fucking get people into the system. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I always like to say, like, people like us that do artistic stuff. I understand that everybody isn't talented. People can have different talents. But they always tell, they say, oh, you can be anything you want. You do this. And then fucking at a certain age, they tell you, no, you can't.
Yeah.
That's not going to make money.
Yeah.
It's not making money.
Yeah.
They don't
try to announce to your school counselor you want to be a stand-up comic or a,
right. They'll all tell you no.
Or a magician.
You might get one rando one that snuck through the system is going to be like, yeah, follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to say
very
no.
rare. The Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty. Anytime it says religious, whatever, I go, oh,
yeah.
Here it comes. They surveyed 1,000 American adults between September 28th and October 5th as part of its annual Religious Freedom Index. Results suggest that trans advocacy in schools is a losing proposition for Democrat politicians. 74% of respondents agreed parents should be able to opt their children out of the public school curriculum on gender and sexuality that violates their religious beliefs or that they believe is not age appropriate, or because they believe the fucking grass is green. I don't care what their reasons are.
Right.
Don't confuse this. Parents have the final say, period. I'm a firm believer of that. You don't get to fucking raise someone else's kids however you see fit. I don't care what your reasoning is. If you think it's best for the kids, no, that's not your place. You can educate them. That's it. That's 4% higher than when the question was posed in 2021 at the height of the education culture war, suggesting that the left has lost ground as more Americans have seen examples of public schools concealing radical ideas under the banner of social emotional learning, sex ed, and the like. Only a third of respondents agreed with a position mirroring that backed by the teachers union and many Democrats, that public schools are responsible for shaping the next generation of citizens and should have final say on what children are taught in school. No, you are not responsible for shaping the next generation. That's the parent's job. Now, if you have a situation where a kid doesn't have a parent, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get involved then in helping shape whatever. You've done such a bang-up job in the past with those kids. So why not give you more leverage with them? But no, that is not your role in society, to raise the next generation, because it looks to me, and I'm just an outside perspective, I'm certainly not in the classroom any day, but it certainly looks like you're doing more indoctrination than it does critical thinking. And critical thinking is what will advance them further down the road and have them engaging in debates with people they don't agree with, instead of just raising the next generation of people that stomp and kick everywhere they go and scream when they don't get their way. Because that's what it seems like you're pushing out into society. And I don't think that's a win for anybody. It's not a win for those kids. It's not a win for the rest of society. 80% disagreed that schools should be allowed to hide information from their parents and their children's decision to adopt a new name, new pronouns, or begin a transition. 76% disagreed that schools should be allowed to encourage children to transition their genders. By the way, 80%, that's a big number. That sounds good.
Yeah, right.
Who are these fucking 20%? Who are those people? I want to keep tabs on those 20%.
You're just okay with, you're just okay with your kid being able to do whatever at school and just be like, yep, that's fine.
No, it should be allowed to hide information from parents. 20% of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Polled. Yeah.
They're okay with that.
They're cool with this.
They're like,
you
yeah.
should be able to hide information from me about my kids at the school because you know best.
Do whatever he does.
Holy shit. What happens when that kid fucking bottles that shit as long as he can and hides it from his parents as long as he can and then kills himself? Who's to blame then? Is it the parents who were left in the dark the whole time? Does the school bear any responsibility? Are lawsuits on the table? Can you sue the school then for when you find out after it's way too late that they've been hiding shit, that your kid was struggling with something mightily of this magnitude and you didn't do anything about it? You didn't tell anyone about it? You didn't inform the parents and let them do whatever they could with doctors, professionals in whatever field is necessary? Do you honestly think those teachers and counselors are going to take it to the level it needs to go sometimes that parents will? Hell no. Nobody believes that. So who are you crazy batshit nut jobs in the 20% that think, no, sounds totally reasonable. Whatever the school decides that it's much better for all involved for me not to tell the parents about what's going on with their fucking weirdo kid.
That is an odd belief.
Wow. Americans are making clear that no one can replace parents when it comes to raising children. That's a heartening sign for the direction of our nation and for every parent who wishes to pass on values and virtues to their children. Our nation is better when we allow parents to parent their children, not the government. This is one of the people that held the survey. The findings come as school districts across the country are acting to the contrary. In Montgomery County, Maryland, school board prohibited parents from removing their children from lessons on sexuality, specifically arguing that it was because so many parents wanted to do so. Listen to this argument and justification. Not kidding. Montgomery County, Maryland. The reason they refused to let you take your kid out of that class when we're doing this whole thing on sexuality and gender bullshit, they argued it was because so many parents wanted to remove their kids that it would cause a disruption. So think about that for a second. So many parents were like, the fuck you are teaching this to my kids. I'm pulling them that they went, oh, no. We're only going to be left with one kid in the class. This is disruptive.
Right.
So let's just fight all those parents that have those concerns. Fuck them. District materials tell teachers that if a parent asks, can I keep my child home when students are learning about alphabet mafia topics? They don't say alphabet mafia. That's just me.
Yeah.
They should discuss equity and then say parents always have the choice to keep their students home while using these texts. However, it will not be an excused absence. So you can keep your kid home, but he's going to be punished for it. It's not an excused absence. The same district, by the way, recently gave excused absences for students who wanted to protest Israel. So those were excused absences. Yeah. State of California.
They're sick. That's what I mean. You just they're sick.
It's crazy. I'm sick on LGBT gay day again.
That's what you have to do.
I'm always sick on gay day. Yeah. Sorry. The state of California, not to be left out. Meanwhile, paid a nonprofit that encourages kids to identify as gender such as fox gender. I don't know what that is, but fox gender. And teaches schools how to hide it. Smart. California. Smart. That includes a 6-page paper on which pronouns to use around kids and whether school staff needs to hide their use of those pronouns from parents. So we'll just, because that's always the way, like when some adult, whether it's a crazy uncle or the weirdo down the street when he says, whatever we do, we don't tell our parents what we did today in my house,
Yeah.
We had some alcohol.
Very legit.
Remember the Different Strokes episode where they were drinking wine and
right.
having ice cream,
Very
taking pictures.
Episode.
Yeah. Riding the bike in the bike shop.
Yeah.
The bike shop episode. We all learned that lesson there, that it's best. Here's how you hide that from parents.
Right.
Here's how we do it. So we can just, it's innocent. We're taking a few pictures. looking at a few booby mags.
Of course.
Yeah, why not? Have a glass of wine. They do it in France all the time. Kids are always drinking. It's no big deal. So, it's not always the case that caregivers are supportive of their child's gender or their gender journey. It's just a journey. In that case, if parents are not supportive or if the child is not out, that's not necessarily someone who will be part of the gender support team. So the parents, they're not part of the support team, so let's keep them out of the loop. In Virginia, a mother sued her school district after relentlessly asked her child about transitioning. The child did transition. The district concealed it from the mother.
Oh, jeez.
She was then trafficked to Baltimore and held by a registered sex offender. A school counselor then allegedly testified in Baltimore court that the girl should remain in Baltimore in a group home with at-risk boys instead of return to her mother, speculating that the mother might be transphobic. That person is the definition, by the way, of a monster, okay? An awful human being that would make that decision. That your kid going through a transition should be hid from the parents and then move them to a at-risk boys home in fucking Baltimore and away from the mom because you think the mom might be transphobic. Smart.
Sounds like kidnapping,
Sounds like kidnapping.
I would say.
Jesus.
Seems odd.
Sorry, I had to get all this stuff.
It's all good.
I really did. It's
I don't know what they might call a soapbox, if you will.
By the way, underwear and socks are now being locked up at Walmarts and Targets.
Damn. Well,
Well, what was it when we were kids?
kidding.
What did they lock up when we were kids? Do you remember, E? Was stuff locked up ever in stores that you remember?
trying to remember. I think there were probably. I don't.
So I remember alcohol
Yeah.
being locked up a lot of times. Now, you had beer coolers and stuff, but the liquor was usually,
Yeah.
locked up or you needed to get someone, and they
Right.
still do that, right?
I'm trying to think.
But that
when
wasn't because of
electronics got to
theft.
that point.
That was because they didn't want kids coming in there
Yeah.
and just grabbing it.
I was trying to think when electronics got to that point. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
probably wasn't all the time, but at some point, for sure, electronics obviously were.
Yeah, electronics for sure.
I'm trying to. I don't know. To be honest with you.
I
They were in
think of
socks, I don't-
electronics. I think of well, the reason it comes up now is because for the longest time it was alcohol, and then small things were that were really expensive. Like
Yeah.
the more electronics have shrunk, and a lot of times you'll see like really small cameras and stuff,
Right.
stuff that would be easy to conceal in your pocket or whatever.
course.
That stuff has been locked up for a while, and in good neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need some hooligan coming in and stealing that shit, or they've had it stolen enough times that they know,
Yeah.
and they're just like, no, we're not going to let this happen. So then it gets to toilet paper. During the pandemic, that kind of started.
Yeah.
And then in California, they were locking up shit like frozen pizzas and ice cream because people knew there
Yeah.
weren't consequences. So they were just going in and going, all right, fuck, I'll steal
Yeah.
all this munchy food. I'm going to go get high anyways, and I'm just going to eat this ice cream. And so they were stealing all that. So that shit got locked up. So why would they be locking up socks and underwear?
Well, I mean, you know why they're being stolen.
Yeah.
But
But why socks and underwear? And I have a theory on this.
you'll have to
Because
let me
A,
go
you've
through
already locked up all the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And B, they still know you won't do shit about it.
Yeah.
So they're going to steal something.
Right.
And the only thing left that can be expensive are toiletries,
Yeah.
razors.
Yeah.
So they're just like, okay, well, if you're not going to protect that stuff and you're not going to do shit, you're going to let us literally stroll out of the store with a bag full of your stuff. Well, then fuck it. We'll take socks and underwear.
Yeah.
And toilet paper. Because all the other stuff's been locked up.
They're doing this at Walmart's.
Yeah. Some places.
Okay.
Walmart and Target. They've begun locking up underwear and socks. Those are the latest items to be protected against shoplifters. But these they used to just be mostly electronics and toiletries. Shoppers at the stores in the Bay Area of California have reacted with surprise. Comes to the point of how ghetto does it look that they have to lock up the socks or whatever it is they have in their key. One shopper told NBC Bay Area. 2 Target stores in the Bay Area in Richmond and Pleasant Hill have locked up underwear. One customer wanting to buy boxer shorts waited 10 minutes for a staff member to come and unlock the case containing them. Yes, That's what happens when it's like, can I get a worker over here? And they got to go, yeah, can we get an employee over to the liquor section to help a customer? And they have to make that announcement 4 times.
Yeah.
Because they've got all the fucking booze locked up. The cost will go up. Staff say they're hit by shoplifters every day. Every day. The cost will go up as residents will have to pay more, or they'll have to commute and travel farther to pick up the groceries, pick up socks, prescriptions. It's really going to be hurting our community. Last week, Governor Gavin Newsom outlined a crackdown on theft in the state. I'm calling for new legislation to expand criminal penalties for those profiting on retail theft and auto burglaries. No, Gavin, here's what you're missing. There's no need to expand penalties, you idiot. That's you just need to enforce current laws. That's all you need to do.
Right.
Those penalties have long been established, Gavin. What the difference is, you decided to go, oh, these poor victims, they don't even have socks, so they need to steal them. Well, we're not charging anybody that steals less than $1,000 worth of stuff. I believe it was $900.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think would happen, Gavin? Did you think only those people that really needed money and to go buy just some basics, they needed baby formula only? Is that what they went and stole? No. They stole Jordans, and they stole fucking jewelry, and they stole frozen pizzas and ice cream. They just stole whatever they wanted because they knew you wouldn't do shit about it. I was babysitting Reed and Madison over the holidays.
Right.
And I was like, all right, Chrissy, you and Jen go out. It was like day after Christmas or 2 days after Christmas. And they had stuff to return, and it's a nightmare. You'll know in a few years with Kaylee.
Yep.
It's a nightmare when you got to drag kids everywhere with you.
Yeah, for sure.
They fucking hold up everything. They bump into strangers. They're a nightmare. As human beings, they're awful people. Just awful people.
Dare you.
They don't give a shit about who's in front of them, who's to the side of. They are in their own world, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They are absolutely only give a shit about themselves. And so you're constantly playing this game of look out, say you're sorry, watch where you're going, look out for her. I'm sorry, ma'am. My kid's a fucking asshole. You're constantly playing that game with them. So, as a nice brother like I am, and a brother-in-law to Jen, I was like, why don't you two go? And I'll watch the kids.
Yeah.
Mad's going to do art. Reed's going to do video games or math. And I'll sit here and watch YouTube videos. You guys go with no kids and run around, return whatever you want, buy some shit, make a day of it, have fun. Right. And they're like, this is awesome. So they did. And they went into REI. You're familiar with REI? It's recreation. And so it's one of those like... where you're going to get recreation. You'd love it. This would be your kind of place. You want camping shit.
Yeah, okay.
REI is like a big.
Yeah.
The REI's around here, right? It's big in California.
It looks like there is, but I've never heard of it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But okay.
What is the name? What is it called? Does it say like recreation?
You're right. Recreational Equipment Incorporated.
Yeah, recreational.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool store.
Yeah.
They've got good clothes, high-end shit, high-end flannels, and that's where Jay probably got his piranha pants.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
While my sister and Jen were there, it got fucking hit by a group of
really
smash and grab teens or whatever.
Yeah.
While they're there.
That's funny.
So you see it on the news all the time.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone with them. She's like, oh my God, these kids just ran in, fucking ransacked the store and ran out. And so everyone's kind of, it happens so fast.
Yeah.
And it's so disruptive. And then they take off.
Yeah.
And they almost ran someone over in the parking lot. And I was like, whoa, what did you do? And she's like, I don't know. I asked the lady and they were like, this usually doesn't happen to our REI, wherever they were near.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like in their area. But they hear about it all the time, and they didn't do shit. The cops don't come.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever they took, they took. And I'm not a regular shopper at REI. I've been there. I was there for the first time with my sister.
Right.
And I went in there, but that shit's not cheap.
No, it's an expensive store. Actually, I had, I hadn't heard of it, but kind of had, but
yeah. I mean, their pants start at $100.
Yeah.
And their fucking flannels are $100. Like it's expensive stuff. That's where you're gonna get your expensive water bottles.
Yeah.
And camping gear and all that shit. So that happened while they were there and I was babysitting.
That's
their kids.
crazy. So they're just in there and
Yeah. And the people there were just like, welcome to California. We went and saw maybe the worst comic that's ever lived.
Yeah, I think I maybe saw a
Holy
post,
shit, she was bad.
post about it.
Oh, what was her name again?
I don't remember, but I saw you.
Ali Wong.
Yeah.
It was horrific. But my sister got the tickets. She wanted the family to go. It was kind of a night out for my parents, too.
Right,
So
right.
the 5 of us went,
Yeah.
and, it was great. We had a wonderful dinner in the city. It was awesome. And then went to the show, and it was just like,
Was
But-
it getting laughs? Like, would you say?
oh, there were a couple lesbians behind me that thought it was the funniest shit they've ever heard.
But like as a overall,
I'm assuming lesbians.
I
They
mean,
did have blue hair.
I mean, they knew who they were going to see, so most people probably
Yeah,
knew they
we're
were gonna-
fans.
yeah, so,
Yeah, there were
okay.
laughs, but it was just like, whatever. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
For some, great. She's made it. She's successful. I don't need to shit on her. But walking around afterwards, after the show let out, I believe it was at the Masonic.
Gotcha.
In San Francisco. And
Yeah.
walk out, and there's cars parked on the street.
Yeah.
And there's literally signs in the window of the car with like a smiley face, and it says, "Please don't smash my windows. There's nothing to steal in here." Can you imagine putting signs like that in your car?
No.
I took pictures of them. I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's just that. And we were in North Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. For people not familiar with that area, North Beach is a nice area, right? This is not where, and this is where these cars are parked that are like, please don't fucking smash my windows.
Yeah.
We've got nothing in here. So I'm going to the city one day,
Yeah.
and no. When we were going for that, Jen and Chris and I were driving there, and then I was going to drive home with my folks to stay at their house because the Lions were playing the next morning.
Gotcha,
Like
yep.
10 a.m.,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
1
West
p.m.
Coast,
start
yeah.
here, West Coast 10 a.m. So it was like, I can't be around your kids and Jen and
Yeah.
you during a football game that
Yeah.
matters, so I'm going to go stay with the folks.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, fine, you're an asshole, but fine.
Yeah.
So I was doing this bouncing back and forth between my folks' house and Kristen's. So we're like, yeah, we'll take one car downtown. We'll meet the folks downtown, and then you'll just go back with them. And I'm like, okay. So I had to bring my overnight stuff. So I have to bring a fucking backpack and shoes with underwear and socks and toiletries and all
That
the
you
shit.
paid for it or no?
What? Yeah, I did. Yes.
Okay.
This is all brought with me. I did not
Gotcha.
steal any of this.
Okay.
So I brought all this stuff downtown. Jin had to go through the back of the car. He's like, okay, let's see. Let's pull this back so you can't see the shoes in the back. And he goes, let's put the seat down in the back seat, and we'll tuck your backpack under the seat thing, and then we'll put a blanket here, and hopefully no one thinks there's something back here.
Oh my God.
That's
Crazy.
the extent, dude. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating it.
Yeah.
That's how it was like going into North Beach, not into like fucking you live south of Market, Ray
Right.
and Pete shit.
Right.
Not that. North Beach, nice area, high end, trendy shit.
Crazy, man.
Crazy,
It's wild.
crazy, and it's like,
I
you know-
currently have my keys sitting in my front seat of the car.
yeah, no,
That's
dude,
in
your
your-
shit would
that's
be
in-
so stolen.
that it's in your
so
driveway.
stolen. Yeah, yeah, it's a different world, man. But you find out that most humans they recognize well, what am I gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And so it's like, hell, I guess I'll do what I can, which is put a sympathetic note on my car saying, please,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing in here. Please just save my
Fucking
windows,
crazy,
spare my
man.
windows.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, I hope you had fun on the show tonight, folks. And did anyone make any comments?
we're kind of late today, I feel like.
Yeah.
This
No,
is
I mean
odd.
about the audio and stuff.
Yeah, the audio's back for sure.
It was, okay.
Yeah, but it was light on the comments.
Why don't I do a couple emails and we'll get out of here? And I'll tell you, Isis has some plans tomorrow, so we're not going to do a show tomorrow. I will do some exclusive content for our wonderful members at some point this weekend. I did it last week, and people really liked that, so I'll do some more of that. It was either Miss Tomorrow's show or Monday's show,
Right, that
as
was
far
where
as
I was
Isis
sitting
was
at.
concerned.
And I thought Monday
And
seemed a little more important.
Monday is way more important. So we'll have Henson on Monday. Isis and I will be here.
I'll be crying. No, I'm just
One way
kidding.
or the other,
I'm
we're
like-
gonna either be brokenhearted or elated.
Yeah.
Tears of joy.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for.
We are. I'm telling you,
I
they're
think
gonna
they're
beat the
gonna win. I
Bucks,
think they're
dude.
gonna win.
They're gonna beat the Bucks. I'm going out on a limb.
Okay.
So, the Lions in a championship game. I just can't.
I know.
can't fathom
It's gonna be
it.
weird.
I can't fathom.
It's gonna be weird.
All right, let's do a couple emails and we'll shut it down. The future all sounds good, just as long as the TDC remains Detroit centric It is, after all, the Detroit cast. Please don't lose the. First off,
never really was Detroit-centric.
it's very much not Detroit centric. I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. Thank you for that.
I don't think it ever was. I mean,
No, I have purposely gone out of my way to not be very Detroit.
Really? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I always told people to the extent that we talked about Detroit, local stuff, it was just our lives. If I
Right.
went to a concert, if the
That's
Lions
what
or
I've
went-
always said too. If we're talking about being on a freeway at 696, 275, 75,
But I mean,
shit like that.
The stories, we never talk about stuff. from
Never.
Detroit.
I purposely avoid stories from Detroit. Honestly, I don't. It is what it is. Unless it's a really big story, I purposely go out of my way not to do like Detroit stuff.
Yeah.
And part of the reason, honestly, is growing up, you didn't go to Detroit. So like most people that live near in a metro city and near a major metro city, they know those areas really well. Like kids that grew up in the Bay Area or Los Angeles, you're going to those areas a lot. When I was growing up, you didn't go to Detroit.
Right.
If you did, it was once a year, and it was like, all right, lock the doors, roll everything up, let's park under a really lit fucking parking structure. It was long past the days of, here, kid, here's 25 cents. Take the bus downtown and have a blast.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, I didn't grow up in those days. Detroit was very different and very dangerous. And so I don't know Detroit all that well as far as the city goes. I've lived here a long time, and I just don't know. So it'll be whatever it's always been. How about that, Steve? Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say that.
So if it's Detroit-centric to you, great. Please don't lose the ding when someone makes a point. Well, he's got a good point there. There you go, buddy. No, and I love hearing this. I'd be listening long enough that my mind inserts it no matter where I am or who says it. Other podcasts, TV shows, etc. Keep the ding. Have a nice day. Steve, we will keep the ding.
That's central. That's local.
Yeah, I guess,
that,
but it doesn't have anything to do with Detroit, but it is. I guess it is sort of local. This one I was surprised by. It's from James. James can get a little salty
Oh
with the
boy,
language.
I think I remember James.
The Woke Bay.
Oh boy,
Very cool.
He's not going to like this. I
Very
feel
cool. Glad to hear the new direction of the show. As always, you have my support. Just keep the show funny. I think Connor deserves a shot. He has so much boner love for Connor.
Huh.
Connor makes great email points. That's why I read them all the
Yeah.
time. They're well thought out. He makes, and I think James does too. Sometimes James comes in a little hot. Sometimes,
Yeah, from what I recall.
and that's worth the read as well to me. Connor deserves a shot. Connor is not interested in a shot. At least to balance out all the upcoming communism I fear from the engine that the engine will bring. He said engine, but I know what he means. He's talking about the Indian.
He's not that kind of engine.
No, he's not that kind of engine.
It's definitely more
No,
dot.
he's way more dot
Yeah.
than feather.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to bring a load of communism anyways. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll fucking
it'll be
do
interesting.
We'll stick that fucking engine back on the Mayflower if that's the case, Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Mayflower. we kind of came on the Mayflower though. We wouldn't be sticking
Gross.
them back on the Mayflower.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know. You just want to
It'd be really weird for the people on the Mayflower if they were still there if we stuck one of the wrong engines back on it and sent it off to sea. That'd be kind of odd, wouldn't
It
it?
would be a little weird.
I'm for it. I'm willing to give it a try.
I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah. Is Travis on board? Let me know if you need anything. Of course Travis is on board. Travis will
be on board, but we tell him to be on board with.
goddamn right. No,
Yeah.
Travis is a mainstay. Travis is he's adorable. And he's great. I love Travis. He's a problem solver. He's he and Ron are kind of my rock, the two of them. And Isis, really, in a different kind of way. A different kind of way, but also
I get what you're saying.
yeah, you're my rock. You've been here through ups and downs, thicks and thins, radical changes in hosts. You've been my
true.
my rock for that. And those guys are my rock, and I hope I never lose them.
Yeah, they're good dudes, for sure.
It's very, very, very hard to find competent engineer, producer-minded people. It's very difficult.
Tech guys, for sure.
Tech guys. That's really what I mean. And those two are rock fucking solid. I'll go to bat for Travis and Aaron for eternity. They're that good of dudes. Greg Henson, go Athens. You probably missed it, but he said people would paint "Go Athens" on the field. No, I didn't miss it. I heard that. Of course I heard that.
Yeah.
I went to Athens. If he did too, it might change my opinion of him. Ooh, that means he doesn't like him.
I would assume he didn't go because I would assume the assumption was he's saying the coach would go on there and that's like the rival team, right? Like
Yeah.
he would play and he'd be like, they came out here and said go Athens and you want to fuck them up on Friday or whatever, right? I would assume it was the
I
rival.
remember that. There was like gasoline poured on the Harrison football field at one point, or
Okay.
something like that to kill the grass. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But so he says it might change my opinion of him if he went to Athens. But I got the impression the painting on the field was a taunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was.
That was
But what Greg was saying was it turns out maybe our coaches did that.
well,
to
his own
fire
coach
us up.
did it, saying
Yeah.
they did it.
Saying, oh, yeah, your
Look what
rival
they
did it.
did.
Yeah, well, let's get fired up. We'll show them on Friday night.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Greg went to Athens or not. We could ask him. I don't cry about sports stuff, not even Formula One.
Formula One.
My
You
dad
should not be crying over Formula.
My dad loves Formula One. Oh,
boring.
yeah,
And I watch NASCAR.
yeah. But it is totally awesome seeing the Lions in the postseason. Thank you, Steve. I agree. Let's see here. Triple G. So far, I'm agreeing with Greg about all the faggots crying. Well, dude, you can't call them that.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on now.
It's 3G, not Triple G.
Ah.
Right? Don't.
See what you did there.
You did?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. Fuck you.
What?
Not you. Him.
Expect me to change that much?
I'm talking him. Fuck him.
Yeah. Can't say
You know,
the F
I
word.
always
Is the
like
F
to-
word
I-
over for you?
I always like to say, you know, the only problem with Greg is he'll be able to say he cares about his kids, which he's and all everything he
Oh, yeah.
said, he cares very much. So the problem is it's hard to say him, oh, what's something you care about the most, and his kids, and you think, wow, you can't really fight with that.
Yeah, not that.
But with
Take them
most
off.
people, I can kind of be like, well, what do you care about a lot? And I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Mm-hmm. That's stupid that you care that much. Why do you care that much?
Yeah.
Stop
You can do
caring.
it with anything. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a knitting freak.
Yeah,
Or I'm
that's
a
dumb.
video game freak. You
Yeah.
could say that's dumb to everything. Yeah, teach their own. That's why you leave people the fuck alone.
Right.
Right?
I
Don't.
hear ya.
Here's the thing I would say: don't force your shit on me. That's all. The only time I get upset about what you're doing is when you try to force it on me and act like it's normal.
Yeah, I
No,
agree with that,
You
obviously.
you stay in your corner and do whatever the fuck you're doing. I'm going to stay in my corner and do whatever the fuck I'm doing. Neither thing is illegal, so you don't worry about me and I won't worry about you. How about we start there?
I
It's called
agree.
not being an asshole, basically.
Yep. I
Stay in
agree.
your lane, do your thing. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Which is why I would say it's an odd take for a lot of people that have that opinion to then be so hard on something like crying. at
Well,
sports.
Okay, I will go a step further and say this, Jesus. People that are used to talking for a living
I know.
have to have a wide opinion on a lot
I
of
know,
things.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
It's part of the goes with the territory.
I know.
So, but
I know.
that one kind of stung you,
No,
and
no,
you didn't even cry. It wasn't even about you
That's the
'cause
funny
you
thing is
didn't
I
cry.
didn't end up crying.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to. And then actually, as I said, I had kind of recounted it. The only times I had cried in the end had been for losses. Now, nonetheless, quite a bit of the times I did cry for losses.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I get it. No, it's a totally different
and
cry.
it
It's
is
more of an
different.
anger cry and
When I was talking
frustration cry, but the overwhelming joy cry is next level. That's a good one though. I don't have a problem with
I
it.
actually, the funny thing is, I don't know that I have cried from happiness from sports. I've been very, very happy. It's all been from
Did
sad.
you see Jason Kelsey leaving the game after getting his ass kicked by
yeah, well, his team
Tampa
fucking
Bay?
pretty much gave up. So
Yeah, they totally gave up, but he was crying
because I think he
for
was going to
sure.
be done. He thought he was going to be done.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm surprised he came back this year.
And no, but I do. When I did recall my crying over the 2005 Piston loss, Game 7 versus San Antonio Spurs or whatever, I mean, it was not just like, oh my God. I went to the other room. I was at the Kennedys, and I went to the other room, and I was on the ground sobbing, and I was absolutely
you were.
21 years old.
Yeah.
I was not 10 or 7. I was
yeah.
21. I remember because I had a thing of champagne ready to go.
Were you
Opening-
drunk? Oh, you had
No,
champagne ready
I
to
had
go.
Champagne ready to
Oh,
go.
boy.
It was the first. It was the first
boy.
championship I was going to be able to celebrate as a 21-year-old because
Oh,
none of the
okay.
teams in my life had ever won
Yeah.
when I was 21. So I had a champagne ready to go.
Did you end up drinking that champagne?
I don't know. I I don't know.
Were you
honestly.
drinking beers during the game or no?
I don't even know. I don't think I was, which is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I was, but I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember going into the other room,
the-
laying on the ground and crying for about 10 minutes.
Well, we're going to have to revisit this on Monday when we talk to Greg again because it's clearly stuck with you. You've brought it up 3 days in a row now, E. So it's clearly something.
It's like, I don't care, but I do.
Look, I care about both of you guys a lot. I like 3G. I like you. And I don't want to leave this tension just hanging in the air like that about the crying
I
thing.
think that
Because, you know, if you leave that hanging, it leads to blowouts and then divorce. And
yeah.
I can't have that.
You know
we need to clear the air. I'm clearing the air with my buddies. So I will definitely bring up the crying aspect of sports, and we'll let you and Greg settle your dispute.
I don't think it's gonna go very. You know.
Well, you at least have a 4 fucking day head start on Henson. You might as well think of like.
I don't have to say anything though.
Yeah, but think about how an interviewer or a debater would go into that. Like, what's something you care about, Greg? Is there anything you care about
kids. I know
besides your kids and your wife? Take family out of it, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Take family out of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you give a shit about? That if it was taken away from you, or you got the major promotion, or you got the dream fucking gig,
maybe you wouldn't have those things.
Maybe not. Maybe not. It was his dream
but
sports
I've also
car.
Cried at fucking. I cry though. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like I cry. I've cried at fucking nature and shit. So I mean.
Yeah. Well,
I've cried at little videos of dumb things. I cry. So I get very emotional.
That's okay.
I've cried watching music videos.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can get choked up at stuff. Not very often.
I would say, you know what I would.
I'm still too big of a pussy to let anyone see it, though.
What I would say about that, I'm not trying to try to sound like. I mean, I think the problem is every generation. You know, you're just my generation was this, and we didn't cry, or we didn't do this, or whatever we didn't do, right? I would just say I obviously don't have an issue with cry. I think there's a generation of guys that for sure taught. You're just not supposed to cry for the most part.
Hell yeah.
And I don't.
I was from the generation that was,
that.
Keep going, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
Which was an absolute threat. That's a threat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a threat of violence. That's all sorts of threats. Like, I'm already crying. What do you mean, give me something to cry about?
Yeah.
I'm already crying. So whatever you're going to pile on top of this is just going to make this situation way fucking worse.
You know, it's funny. I'm at the point. See, I'm going to sound soft, but I'm at the point where I don't find the bragging that my parents used to whoop my ass as like really a brag. You know,
it's not much of a brag.
I think there's
it's bragging about a unfiled assault charge.
I don't. Look. I'm not saying I don't agree. I think the parents should not.
Did they discipline you by whooping your ass a little bit?
I did get it.
That was a church thing, by the way. My mom told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the wooden spoon. I was like, why the wooden spoon?
My mom would get it for the. She went to a Catholic school.
She knuckles.
Got the knuckles
with a ruler.
Yep.
Yeah, I asked my mom specifically. I think I've talked about this before, but I asked my mom, like, why the wooden spoon? Of all things you could attack and assault your child with.
Yeah.
Why the wooden spoon? And she was like, oh, it was a fucking church thing. Like they had something about, beating sensitive kids.
Look, I 100%, you talk about like I believe that a parent should teach a kid right and wrong. But I just, when you hear it in reality, well, back in my day, my parents used to whoop my ass. It's like, is that really a brag?
Yeah, it's not much of it. It's a lousy brag. It's a lousy.
We could probably handle things differently.
It's meant to convey. Now I'm tough for it now. It hurt in the moment.
Or do you have a lot of emotional issues that you don't really address?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is that why you hold it in to make fun of people for crying at events?
Or you become a drunk or something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Who are we? We barely got educated. What do we know?
My mom tried to homeschool me for a year. That didn't go well.
No, hell no. I could have told her that was going to fail.
But
all right, buddy. Let's call it a day. We are not going to talk to the audience again until after the Lions game.
Yep.
So I am excited. You guys be safe. Enjoy the games. And whichever way they go, this season has lived up to expectations.
Oh, yeah. They're doing good, man.
With that said, don't you dare lose this game. They're going to beat Tampa.
They should.
They're going to beat Tampa. That defense is real. Don't overlook them. Come with a game plan. Don't act like you've already, don't act like you, hey, we already reached our mountaintop. We won a playoff game. No, you're right there. You're at the cusp of greatness, of immortality. You got to go take it, though. You got to go take it. So go take it, boys.
Go
do it. I'm rooting for you.
#grit.
Hell yeah, grit. All right, Jesus. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you at some point this weekend, but we'll see you guys all Monday. I'll do some, like I said, some member content. And go Lions.